updates pertaining to regional and statewide issues and that affect the business economy. Today, we're excited to hear from Coach Jay Hopson, head football coach at the University of Southern Mississippi. We know that a lot of you will have questions for the coach. So if you have a question of Coach Hop, we ask you to please submit that in the Q&A section of the icon on the bottom of your screen. Today, we'd like to give a special thanks to our co-sponsors, Pearl River Valley Electric Power Association, and the First Bancshares and subsidiary bank, the First, a National Banking Association. Before we get started, though, we'd like to ask Mike Dixon to provide the invocation. Mike.
Thanks, Hobby. As I was trying to write out today's prayer in the time of kind of anxiousness, kids going back to school, teachers, a lot of uncertainty, actually a passage from Isaiah 43 came to mind, and I figured the prophet Isaiah probably does a better job of writing a prayer than me. So if you'll allow me just to read this passage out of Isaiah 43, and this will be our prayer today. Isaiah 43. But now thus says the Lord, he who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel, do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, and you are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and the waves, they shall not overcome you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. God, today we pray for your courage. We pray for your hope in the midst of our anxieties and fear. We pray for your unconditional love in the midst of our own selfish ambitions and desires. God, we pray that you help us to be the kind of people you've called us to be. We do love you, and we ask all things in your name. Amen.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. I'm Hoppy Cole. I'm president and CEO of the First. And as a sponsor today, we'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the bank and the company and give you a little update about kind of where we are. So, Vanessa, if you would advance, before we get started, if you advance to the next slide, we are a publicly held company, and in keeping with SEC rules, Securities Exchange Commission rules, we need to put up our forward-looking safe harbor statement. So if you guys would take a minute just to look at that. Thanks, Vanessa. Can we have the next slide, please, ma'am? As you know, as a lot of you know, First Bancshares was founded in 1996 by a group of local investors here in Hattiesburg. And many of those original investors still sit on our board. Since its initial founding in 1996, we've grown to 84 locations serving a 5-state area in the Southeast: Mississippi, our home, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, and most recently, Georgia. In 2009, the board crafted a regional expansion strategy, and with a vision of building a regional community bank serving really some of the more dynamic markets in the Southeast, not only to drive franchise value and growth, but also to offer diversification, geographic diversification, industry-specific diversification. That plan and execution upon that plan has allowed us to become the 5th largest bank headquartered in the state. We currently have just under 800 employees in that 5-state area. We trade on NASDAQ under the symbol FBMS. And again, our strategy has been two-part: acquisitive growth, but also organic growth. So we have actually done 12 acquisitions since 2010. So next slide, please, ma'am. Since we last met, we've done 2 acquisitions, and you'll notice that the yellow dots in the Destin and Florida Panhandle and the blue dots over in South Georgia. At the end of last year, November, we purchased First Florida Bank, which was 7 locations in the Destin, Panama City area. If you travel, for those of you that travel in the Destin area, you'll notice we do this sometimes depending on how strong the brand of the bank is. Kind of a foundational piece of our community bank model is local branding, local decentralized decision-making authority. So if you travel in that area, you'll notice that First Florida kept the name First Florida. So they are First Florida Bank, and you'll see our logo, the round green 1, but then you'll see a division of the First under that. They were about $400 million in assets. And then most recently, if you look over in South Georgia, we purchased Southwest Georgia Bank. That was a 110-year-old institution, about $550 million of assets. They're headquartered in Moultrie, but they serve kind of the 3 SMSA area of Valdosta, Albany, and Tifton. So That bank as well kept its branding. Again, a strong presence, strong local following. So they are Southwest Georgia Bank, a division of the First. So those are our most two recent expansions. Next slide, please, ma'am. And then just quickly, we talked about a major piece of our strategy was diversification. So if you look at 2009, most all of our market share was in Mississippi. It's still a majority of our market share. Mississippi is our home, particularly South Mississippi and Hattiesburg. But again, a much more diversified asset base spread, relatively evenly between Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, and Alabama. So diversification, reaching out to markets that drive growth, but also, particularly in times of stress like this, diversification is somewhat of a risk mitigant that we don't have any concentration of assets in one geographic area. So that's a little bit about where the company overall has been in the last year. And I'd like to ask Chase Blankenship, our Hattiesburg market president, to talk a little bit about our local presence and our local banking team. Chase?
Thank you, Hoppy. One thing we wanted to talk about today was banking local. You hear a lot of people talk about shop local, eat local. We believe it's very important as a bank for people to bank local. So Hoppy talked about us having roughly almost 800 employees. What a lot of people don't realize is almost 200 of those employees work here in Hattiesburg or Forest Lamar County. We have our operations center here. We're headquartered here. So a lot of our employees, even though the bank has become a regional bank in the Gulf South, we have a core nucleus of our employees here in Hattiesburg supporting the Hattiesburg community. So we do believe it is very important to bank local. We believe it in our customers, and we believe it in our philosophy. We have branches located in Hattiesburg, Purvis, and Petal. We have a great footprint in those areas. We serve those areas well. Today, what we wanted to do was introduce you to a few of our commercial lenders. We have full service branches, 5 in the Forest Lamar area, and we have a full commercial team located in Hattiesburg. Next slide, please. You'll see here on our commercial team, it's made up of 9 individuals. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the commercial lenders and then the role they played in the recent payroll protection program that was a big, part of the CARES Act. So you'll see there, Marcus Robinson. Marcus has been with us about a year and a half, longtime banker in Hattiesburg, great asset to our team, brings a wealth of knowledge. Then you have Wes Rouse, Senior Vice President, Commercial Lender, University of Southern Mississippi graduate. Wes has been in banking 20 years, also great addition to our team. You'll see next we have Shawn Harris. We have our own Shawn Harris here. We like to refer to him as the other Shawn Harris. Shawn is a graduate of USM also. He's been with us 6 years. Was actually our first intern we ever had in our intern program partnership with USM. So Shawn's been with us 6 years. He's now a vice president, commercial lender, handles some large relationships for us. And then finally, we have the baby, Chase Barnes. He's been with us about 3 years, University of Southern Mississippi graduate, commercial lender, involved in the community, Pine Belt Young Professionals. He was going to be in the Leadership Pine Belt class this year. I know they've had a snag with that due to COVID, but that's the makeup of our commercial team right now in Hattiesburg, our lenders. Next slide, please. And so we talk about banking local. And one thing we want to talk about is what the commercial team did during the payroll protection program. These are just numbers for Forest and Lamar County. These are loans that were made for people that live in Purvis, Petal, Hattiesburg, surrounding areas. So the team in Hattiesburg did 235 loans for a total of just over $47 million in payroll protection loans. What's most proud of that is over 200 of those loans were under $200,000. So as a bank, Hoppy talks about a lot, banking local and local decision-making. Well, Hoppy and our executives and our management team, they were able to put in place a system where we were able to get these loans to these customers very fast, very efficient, and really helped them out when they needed help. So we don't just say it. When we say bank local, we mean it. So thank y'all for having the time. Let us have this time today. Thank you, Chad, for everything y'all done during this. And we appreciate it.
Thanks, Chase. Next, I think Alan Anderson will have a few announcements for us.
I do. Good morning. I'm honored to announce and welcome some of our newest members to the ADP. The First Choice EST, ARS Technical Services, Core Nutrition at Midtown, Gallagher Benefit Services, GNC Hardy Street, Hair Unlimited, Housing Authority of the City of Hattiesburg, Mississippi United, Schools Against Vaping, the Divine Shine Detail Experience, and Worthy Stables. To find out more about our new members, please visit theadp.com to view their member listing, along with finding and following their social media and website pages. And before moving forward, a couple of announcements. On Tuesday, August 25th, 11 a.m. will be the Rise Up Professional Development Series. That'll be a Zoom webinar, The Basics of Branding for Your Business. Visit theadp.com/calendar to register, and that should be a really good program. ADP Ambassador interest forms are now available. Ambassadors play a critical role in orienting and engaging new members while enhancing retention efforts through communicating outstanding benefits, service, and community leadership. To receive an interest form, contact Ann Scott Mathis at a.mathis@theadp.com. All entries are due by Friday, August 28th. Virtual Accelerate. That'll be in about a month on a Friday morning, September 11th at 11 a.m. Our speaker will be John Rounceville. He is the interim director of the Mississippi Development Authority. Visit the adp.com/calendar to register. And also, our corporate golf challenge is coming up Thursday, September 17th. Have an 8 a.m. and a 1 p.m. flight at the Timberton Golf Club. Corporate teams and individual registrations are available at www.theadp.com. And now we have Leif Munkle with Pearl River Valley Electric Power Association, who will provide sponsor remarks and introduce our speaker.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure once again to sponsor today's Accelerate. As always, thank you to Chad, Vanessa, and Nikki, and the rest of the staff for putting together this event, especially considering the variety of issues presented by COVID-19. While the coronavirus has separated us more than ever at Pearl River Valley Electric, we feel a strengthened commitment to the areas and communities we serve. For over 80 years, we have provided electric service to our 12-county service area. In that time, we have grown from a handful of members to over 50,000. Pearl River Valley Electric is a cooperative form of business established by people who came together to meet a mutual need, providing electric service to rural areas. Our member consumers remain the owners of the association, and we are still designed solely to benefit them. As a not-for-profit organization, we are overseen by a board of directors made up of members who live in our service territory. One of the main aspects of an electric cooperative is the goal to improve the communities we serve. Since 2013, our Roundup for Education Community College Scholarship Program has provided approximately $1.5 million in scholarships to nearly 1,500 students. This year, we will again provide at least 170 scholarships to local community college students. We're overwhelmed by the support that the program has received, and I can tell you that it has made a significant difference in the lives of many families. The Roundup program is a prime example of what a member-owned cooperative business can do. While we take pride in our community involvement, our primary job is to provide safe, reliable, and affordable electric service to our members. Often we take for granted our modern conveniences and forget how essential electric service is to our daily lives. And as you know, in any business, you have to have great employees in order to succeed. In an industry as broad and as complicated as ours, our employees work hard every day for our members to plan for the future, offer outstanding customer service, and restore power under the worst conditions. For example, in April, our linemen and servicemen worked long days restoring electric service after powerful storms hit Mississippi on Easter Sunday and then again a week later. In total, we replaced 365 poles and restored power to more than 12,000 members. I am proud to represent each of these employees and thank them for their service to our cooperative. Now, I'm very happy to introduce our speaker for today. Coach Jay Hopson, a 28-year coaching veteran on the collegiate level and twice previously a member of the Southern Miss coaching staff, became the school's 21st head football coach in 2016 prior to the school's 100th season of football. A native of Vicksburg, Mississippi, Hopson returned to Southern Miss after a very successful 4-year stint as the head coach at Alcorn State. In his first year directing the USM program, Hopson led the Golden Eagles to the second straight bowl appearance. In 2017, the Golden Eagles earned a berth in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Last season, Southern Miss again battled for the Conference USA West Division contest, beating eventual divisional champ UAB 37-2. The squad returned to the postseason, earning its third bowl trip in 4 seasons under Hopson and 4th time in the last 5 years. Coach Hopson's record in his 4 seasons as USM's head coach is 28-22, and he holds the distinction with Reed Green and Larry Fedora of having winning seasons over their respective first 4 seasons. Overall, he is 60-39 in 8 seasons as a head coach. Hopson's assistant coaching experience also includes positions at Michigan, Memphis, Ole Miss, Marshall, Florida, LSU, Delta State, and Tulane. He earned 4 letters as a player at Ole Miss and graduated from there with a bachelor's degree in business administration. He also received a master's of health degree in physical education and recreation from Delta State. Coach Hopson and his wife, Michelle, have 2 daughters, Hyde and Hannah. Welcome, Coach Hopson.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate that, guys. And hopefully, I guarantee you, I can't see everybody, but I can assure you I'm the worst dressed guy in the meeting today. We got out from the practice field, but I really, first and foremost, just want to thank the ADP and what you guys do for our program for the University of Southern Mississippi. As you know, this is a unique time and a difficult time, so we certainly really need your support. Like always, I kind of throw up the Hardy Street Challenge every year. Please support our program. We know ticket sales, and we don't know really exactly yet what our capacity limit will be for the season, but we certainly would hope you buy as many season tickets as possible to kind of help support our program and really support our athletic department. Season ticket sales in football is such a big thing for our athletic department. It helps support all of our programs here at Southern Miss. So when you buy a season ticket to a Southern Miss football year, you're buying a ticket to help promote everything and every athletic program at Southern Miss. Now, COVID-19, as you all know, and I know a lot of people want to know what's the climate and what's going on with college sports and college football. It's really there's a lot of unknowns that we're dancing into. You've seen how really all the conferences have come out with a different model and a different plan. I think the SEC is playing 10 conference games. The Big Ten is 10. The ACC is a 10+1 conference model. I think the Pac-12 is a conference-only model. I think the Big 12 is a 9 conference games +1. In Conference USA, we've chosen to play a full season, as of right now. Certainly there's always meetings and things that are happening. I think next week there's a big meeting in Conference USA. But as it stands today, we released our schedule, I believe, this morning. We've lost 2 games. We actually lost Jackson State, which we replaced with Tennessee Tech. And we lost Auburn, which we replaced with Tulane, which is a local rival that all of us that have been around Southern Miss for years know that was always a big game, a battle for the bell. And so that's a great addition to our schedule. We've got 7 home games this year, which last year we had 5. So this year we got 7. So at least we're averaging back out on 6. But 7 home games is a big deal. That's 7 opportunities in our community, and especially for our businesses along Hardy Street and Hattiesburg to make great income. So we really want you to get out and help promote our season. Just promote Southern Miss sports and Southern Miss football especially. We're excited about our schedule. We're excited, and I'll kind of go into our program, and then I'll open it up for a question answer. This is kind of weird doing a talk, and you're looking at yourself, and that's all you see. So we'll open up the for question and answer after I get through. But with our schedule, again, we have a lot of games at home, and we've had a great, outstanding recruiting class this year to compound on some returning players. I think we're an older football team right now. We've got a lot of juniors and seniors, so that's always a football coach. You always like that. We have experience at the quarterback position, experience at the offensive line position. We have a few new receivers coming in, which I really felt like we had one of the best recruiting classes in history as far as the receiving corps is concerned. Felt like we picked out 3 of the top 4 receivers in the junior college system in the country. So I'm excited to get those guys are doing a great job. Jason Brownlee's had a good camp, of course. And Antoine Robinson's got a little bit of a tweak right now. And Daquan Bailey Brown, we hope to get going here this weekend. Tim Jones, who is an all-conference USA receiver, is back. So we always expect big things from him. And we've got a complete stable of running backs. So, I mean, that'll be a fun battle to watch that. You know, we brought in Don Ragsdale and Frank Gore, but we have, you know, Steven and D and KP, Kevin Perkins, all those guys are back. So I feel like we've got good depth, especially at running back and offensive line. Receiver, we have good depth, not great depth, but good depth. Tyler Kennedy's a young man, another young man, a receiver from California that we brought in that's doing extremely well right now. And defensively, I've really been pleased with our back seven. I think our linebacker core has a lot of experience. We got a few guys banged up right now, which when you come off a COVID spring and a COVID summer, that's something you kind of have to watch as a football coach because you know, you're not really in the exact shape that you want to be, you know, the start of August. So you got to kind of work them into shape. So we got a few guys banged up there, but really been impressed with some of our signees in the defensive backfield. We had some depth coming back there, but we've added some players like Eric Scott and Natron Brooks and Cam Harrell. We just brought in a transfer, Josh Perry from Memphis. So we actually, I'm excited about that. We've got good depth at that position. And up front, defensive line-wise, we've got good depth there. We got a lot of guys that have been in the program. And so special teams-wise, our kickers are all back. And our long snappers are back. So I do feel right now we've got adequate depth. I think that's going to be a big key to our football season this year, and I think maybe for every team in the country, because with the things that have happened with COVID and guys not being in exactly the best shape through the spring and the summer, I think there are going to be probably a few more injuries this year and a few more things. So depth is going to be key just to making sure that you got a solid football team going throughout the season. But again, I've been very pleased with our players. They're working hard. We've had 3 good days of practice. As far as our coaches are concerned, we have 2 new coordinators, Matt Kubik. Matt was the offensive coordinator at Louisiana Monroe last year and the last couple of years and done a tremendous job. I think they finished in the top 15 in the country in offense. So we're excited about him. Matt's bringing a lot of good stuff and great energy to our program. And Tony Pecoraro is back as our defensive coordinator. And so we're excited about that. Tim Billings is still my assistant head football coach, and he gives a lot of expertise on both sides of the ball, and he'll be working with the offense. And we brought in Ced Thomas in the back end to coach our defensive backs. And Ced's been with me for a while. He was a head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff, so he's got a lot of experience in a lot of different roles. He's an outstanding football coach. Reed Stringer, who Reed was actually coaching our tight ends, is over coaching our nickels right now. So we're kind of switching a few guys. I think that's been a great advantage for us, guys getting a different perspective from different sides of the football. But really, I've got an outstanding staff working with me. Our guys are working hard. Our coaches are working hard. We're doing everything we can to make sure, always in this COVID-19 environment, we've got a few guys out right now, as we have had throughout the summer. So we've got to practice and we've got to work around that. And so there's certain positions that'll be thin at times. So, but it's just part of the hurdle that we got to go through. And, again, I really can't tell you guys enough how much I appreciate all you do for Southern Miss football. It's much appreciated. And, again, what I really want to do, Chad, if it's okay, I know everybody's worried about college football and everybody's got different questions on their mind. I think it'd be a lot better for me just to open up the floor if it's not just me and you, all I see is you. If it's not just me and you on the Zoom meeting, I'll open up the floor and feel free to ask me any question. I'll try to do my best to give an open and honest answer.
Coach, that's great. And Coach Hop, thanks so much for coming off the practice field today. Know it's hot out there.
It's a lot better than I do. I can promise you that way. I get
Well,
the award for the worst dressed. I know I've spoken at the event about 7 times, but I think I might have the all-time worst dressed appearance. And
no, you're looking good, brother. It means you're out working with the team and getting ready for the season. So we're very appreciative. Of course, we got my gold on today. Go Gold Friday. But look, thank you for joining us, guys. If the participants will, please log your questions into the Q&A section, and I'll pull those up and we'll take some of those for Coach Hop. Coach, I wanted to just reiterate something you said is, look, the business community steps up in a big way for Southern Miss football, and we will encourage everybody to get the season tickets. I know there are a lot of uncertainties, but at the end of the day, when you support college sports, when you support Southern Miss, it is economic development. And hey, at the ADP, our members are about driving this economy forward, helping businesses grow and prosper, and recruiting new ones. Well, hey, what an economic development stimulus when you spend money on college sports right here in the Berg. So I encourage everybody to do that. Certainly at the ADP, we've got our season tickets, and what a great 7 home game slate. I mean, that was, quite frankly, pretty amazing to pull a rabbit out of the hat, with those two games getting canceled. So that's awesome. But we're pumped about it. Hope our case numbers go down so that we'll be able to do this effectively and safely, and we here in the new normal. All right, Coach, we got a question here from Kelly. Says, now that we have an offensive coordinator that favors the rushing attack, how does that differ from last year? And since practices are cut short due to COVID, how will that affect the O-line's ability to adapt?
Those are good questions. I can tell Kelly's a football fan. She's watching some sports. Definitely that's one thing that attracted me to Matt, because I felt like, we have a really good stable of running backs. We've got an experienced offensive line, and I think you've got to establish the running game. And we've been close the last 3 years. We've been either a play or a game away each of the last 3 years from winning the Conference USA Championship. I think we lost to North Texas in 2017, which we'd beaten them. We'd won the conference. Then 2 years ago, we lost to UAB in overtime. And then last year, really, if we'd beaten Louisiana Tech, we'd have been the Conference West champs. So I think what gets us over the top there is really establishing our running game. We have to be a balanced football team. I'm not a guy that wants to run for 300 and throw for 50, but we have to be balanced. And I think with a quarterback like Jack, or, we've got a lot of good quarterbacks too, Tate, and we've got one more coming into the fold here, I think, this weekend. So, we got to make sure that we establish the run. And with the receivers we have and the playmakers we have out wide, I think we can create some one-on-one situations, and we can make some explosive plays. And I think that's critical. With the offense, as far as the offensive line is concerned, as a head football coach, you hate missing spring. There's probably no substitute for spring. You're going to have to make up for lost ground in a quick amount of time. But the only thing is everybody missed spring. I think other than maybe Liberty might have gotten it in, but everybody else on our schedule did not have a spring. So at least you're kind of in the same ballpark with everybody else. We all had to deal with the same issue. Had we missed a spring and everybody else had gotten a spring, I'd be very concerned. But, our guys are working hard. I've been pretty pleased with the first 3 days. I think a young man that's really looked good running the ball in the first few practices is D. Baker. He has really had a lot of explosives in the backfield, and he was a young man we redshirted last year out of Northwest Rankin. And all the guys have Stephen Johnson has really he's had some good runs. He's a 260-pound tailback. He's got great size, and I do feel with our experience up front on the offensive line, I think for the next couple of years, our offensive line will be a strength.
That's awesome, Coach. Let's see. We got another question here. What is the current morale of the players given these, unique circumstances that we're all grappling with?
I think with our players, as far as playing football, I think it's really, really great. I mean, because I think our guys want to play football. Football is a game, and I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. For 45 years in August, I've been practicing playing football. Football is one of those games you got to love it. If you love to play it, you're going to go play. I mean, it's you got to love the game, and our players. I've been really pleased with that. Of course, today it was hot and tired. You get a few fights and a few things going in football. That's just part of the playing as far as that concerned, as far as battling each other. But their morale, I think their energy's been really good. And I think the good thing is, we got a bunch of guys that want to play ball and a bunch of coaches that want to play ball. And I think one thing as coaches and players, I think we stand united. We want to play a season. We want to play a full season. I don't think, we don't want to play 6 games or 8 games or 7 games, We want to play 12. And I think that's fair for everybody because you put so much time and effort in. I think as players and coaches, I think that's the biggest thing we all stand united on is we want to play a full season.
Yeah, Coach, I know it has to be incredibly difficult during these times, but hey, you guys are driven. You're a great leader over the program, and I know the kids are going to come together and do great things. Hey, in the business world, life's full of adversity, and so we just got to work together to.
Nobody gets out of this planet, Chad, without facing it. It hits us all.
Exactly. So many life lessons wrapped up on the sports field. So that's awesome. Got another question here. With all of the scheduling changes from the various conferences, has the NCAA changed anything regarding postseason or bowl eligibility?
That's a great question. I'm sure they're talking about that weekly. Right now, I think they're playing, they're going on as planned and keeping the bowl schedule consistent to what it has been. At least that's the last thing I heard, but I'm sure everything will probably be backed up a couple of weeks, but because it looks like, especially a lot of conferences are moving their championship games back to like December 19th and December 20th. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more games in the shorter schedule in the bowl season around the Christmas and New Year's time, but I don't think anything's been etched in stone yet as far as what bowls are playing when, and I think a lot of that's going to probably be decided sometime around early or late September, early October, when everybody sees kind of how the season's going.
Coach, one question I've got is saw, of course, the first game with South Alabama opening up on a Thursday night. What are your thoughts and what are the players' thoughts about being able to open up on the season on a Thursday night?
I think it's a great thing. I really do. I think Thursday it's a chance for all our students. Everybody's in school hopefully, and we can get. Of course, we know there's mainly online classes at that time period, but we can get a lot of students that are around and get them to the games in the weekday. And I think most fans, I hope, are starving for some football and want to come out and. I think we're all kind of starving for something to do. So hopefully that Thursday night game will present as big a crowd as possible, what we can do or what we can accommodate. And of course, those issues are still all up for debate too. There's no concrete answer there. I don't know exactly what capacity will be, but again, it should be a lot.
Coach, I would assume that decision will, in other words, every day the kind of the playing field changes related to the pandemic. So I'm assuming that, boy, it could change. I mean,
it's like it's
being deliberated.
That's right. Yeah. So everything is constantly. You have to have your head on swivel because it's always audible. But we'll find out here shortly what our capacity will be.
Great.
So, hopefully we'll get some people in the stands.
All right. We got a question here from our chairman, Hoppy Cole. Hoppy's asked, Coach, how will the pandemic affect recruiting visits and talent evaluation?
Hoppy, that's a really good question. That's probably the thing that I've probably been frustrated the most with is, because we missed all of our May evaluations, in-person evaluation. We missed all of our May and June and July football camps where, you get kids on campus and you get a chance to see them. And so, evaluation now this season is going to be on video. And, there's something about seeing a kid in person that tells you just a little bit more about what type of football player he is, and you get a little bit better evaluation. So I think everybody's in that same dilemma. I think the NFL struggled with that this year in the NFL draft. I think there's going to be a lot of misses in the NFL draft. I think a lot of kids, that should be in NFL camp right now that aren't, because NFL scouts weren't able to come work them out. They weren't able to see for themselves what these young men could do. And so what they did was, at times they went off a guy that, that was 6'2", instead of the player that was better, that's 6 foot tall. But they just kind of went on size, dimensions, and what they thought they saw on film. And I think, evaluations for NFL teams struggled this year. And I think for college teams, evaluations will be tough for this upcoming signing class. Will be a little bit more of a crapshoot, because you don't, no coach has really seen that young man in person for almost a year and a half, as far as working out face to face. And, hopefully we can get out on the road a little bit this fall and get to some games. But, that's up in the air still with high schools, So, again, we've kind of been dancing into a big unknown as far as recruiting is concerned. And that's one area that, it's just been kind of weird.
Good deal. That's a great update there. Good question from Hoppy. Does anybody else have any questions for Coach? I know he's got to get back out to the practice field. And if anybody else, I'm going to give you another second here. Anybody has one? Okay. Going once, twice. All right. Coach Hop, hey, thank you so much for joining us today. And really just thank you for your leadership and, your commitment, and having you and Michelle here in the community. And you guys are great community leaders, and you're leading those young men, not only playing football, but you're building them up to have success in life beyond football. So thanks for your leadership. Thanks for always being available for us here at the ADP. And no, it was hard to jump off the practice field and jump on a Zoom call. And hey, trust me, we've been Zooming a lot lately since March, and it is a little bit weird speaking into the computer here. And you got to look at my ugly face on the screen.
It'll be a little bit more entertaining. We'll have a good time. Hopefully we all get back to normalcy by then.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. I hope you have a good weekend, bud. And with the season.
Thank you.
All right, guys. In closing here, I just want to thank our sponsors one more time. Pearl River Valley EPA, certainly Randy Wallace, their CEO, and Anthony Harris, who's on our board of directors, and Leif Munkel. Thank you for the remarks today. Pearl River Valley EPA is one of our largest investors here at the ADP, and they really get the value that the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development brings to the community. So thanks again for Pearl River Valley sponsoring. And then many thanks to our chairman, Hoppy Cole, and Chase Blankenship for providing some sponsor remarks on behalf of the First. The First is the only publicly traded bank headquartered here in Hattiesburg on NASDAQ. So we are elated to see how the First has really grown through the years under Hoppy's leadership, and certainly glad to have Hoppy as the chairman of our board of directors this year. So many thanks to our sponsors. Quickly, a couple of additional announcements. Our golf tournament is coming up on Thursday, September 17th at Timberton Golf Club. And guys, look at that stellar list of sponsors. The corporate community continues to step up for the ADP. We have 29 corporate sponsors for our golf tournament. As Alan Anderson mentioned earlier, we'll have 2 flights, 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. We will be adhering to the healthcare guidelines and regulations. And so we're going to social distance. We're going to have hand sanitizer all around the course. And we are going to conduct meals in a way where we're spreading out. And good news is we'll be outside too, obviously, and that will help tremendously. So we're going to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, a reception at the end of the day with live music. So it's just an awesome way for the corporate community to come together, network with your colleagues, your peers, your customers, your prospective customers, and your support in your regional chamber of commerce and economic development agency to boot. So thanks for your continued support of the ADP. Next, our annual meeting is going to be stellar again this year. I'm very excited that we have been able to secure Dr. Henry Cloud. Dr. Cloud is a leading clinical psychologist. He's also a leadership guru, speaker, author. He's written over 45 books that have sold 20 million copies worldwide. And he has been named one of the top 25 people in America for personal leadership growth and development. We always say that we want our members to grow personally so that they can flourish professionally. And what a great opportunity to hear from Dr. Cloud. Watch this highlight reel here from Henry Cloud.
A boat leaves a wake on two sides. And as you think about influence, I want you to think about you as the boat, because you as a leader, you leave a wake behind you in every interaction, in every day, in every project, in every strategy, in every season that you lead. Okay, so what's a boundary? A boundary is basically a property line, and it defines ownership, control, and responsibility. What's good but not best, and clip it. What's sick and not gonna get well, let's stop throwing good money after bad. And what's dead and taking up space. When you begin to do that in different categories, you will see incredible simplicity and focus begin to come back. Do you know that in your spinal column, all the way down to the cellular level, you are wired to be scanning the environment at all times, and your basic nervous system, to the billionth of a second, is asking a question, the most fundamental question that we ask physiologically, spiritually, and every other way, and it's this: am I safe? And here's what we know about results and this vision. All of the research on goals will come together and basically say this, that the biggest factor that loads on whether you will get from here to there and take your organization from here to there is, number one, whether or not you believe that it can be done. Create structures where your team gets encouragement and connection from you and the few people that are in it with them. You will see their brain chemistry change. You will see their attention change. You will see their energy change. You will see their focus change. And you will see things turn around, because that's the way the brain was designed to work. Thank you, guys.
So guys, we are in for a treat on Friday, December 11th for our annual meeting. Dr. Cloud will join us and do a live virtual presentation. Our event is currently slated to be a hybrid event, with some folks attending in person at the University of Southern Mississippi there in the Thad Cochran Center, and others participating on Zoom virtually. So we'll have, our intent currently is to have both options available. We've sold out the sponsorships. Many thanks to the First for stepping up and being the presenting sponsor. And you see all of the other wonderful corporations who are stepping up and sponsoring that event. Tickets will go on sale on October 1st. They will sell quickly, so be sure to be on the lookout for our annual meeting ticket sales going live on October 1st. Thanks so much for joining us today to hear from Coach Hop. We're pumped about the upcoming football season. Thank you for your engagement with us with the ADP, your membership, and your active participation. And I hope each of you have a wonderful weekend. Take care.